Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So, if you've been online recently for the last couple days, you would have noticed right-wing political commentator Charlie Kirk from the United States was in Cambridge University. Now, upon being there, he touched on a couple topics, but one of the main ones that I thought I actually wanted to talk about was his whole conversation on the Russian and Ukraine war. But before we get into today's video, it will be massively appreciated if you're new to the channel, subscribe and also drop a like on the video. Let's get into it.
Marvellous. Thank you. A very, very short question. Israel versus Hamas. Good guy versus bad guy. Russia versus Ukraine. Who's the good guy and who's the bad guy?
Both are bad, one is worse.
Which way round?
Russia is worse than Ukraine.
Okay, so why haven't we pursued that?
What do you mean?
Well, it seems to me that in the whole of the current US proposition, that Ukraine is being the bad guy.
I don't understand how anyone can actually say it like this. Russia invaded Ukraine because they want to steal territory from Ukraine. Any other way these people frame it, it's a lie. How you can think both sides are actually bad is actually genuinely incredible.
In what way? We funded Ukraine upwards to $200 billion.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But
We just signed a mineral deal with Ukraine, not Russia.
Okay.
yeah, but you are expecting Ukraine to give up 20% of its territory to
Yes.
someone who invaded it.
Yes.
Well, is Crimea part of Russia or Ukraine?
Ukraine.
That's where we don't agree.
How can it be part of how can Crimea be part of Russia when they literally took that land illegally? How is this having to be defined? I don't understand how these people can actually it was invaded when there was a revolution. That was how they took Crimea. How can that possibly belong to Russia?
Well, I'm afraid that's part of international treaty. That's not up for grabs.
Well, it's interesting.
Literally.
Hold on. Even Zelensky has said he's willing to give up Ukraine.
No.
Who's
America signed?
Yes, he wanted to give up Ukraine. No, wanted to give up part of Ukraine so the war can stop, so Ukrainians can stop dying. Not because Russia deserved it. If he thought Russia deserved it, he wouldn't have fought in the first place. And also Russia's aim isn't 20% of Ukraine. No, it's to Kursk. It's into the deep region of Ukraine and actually steal the main and the capital of Ukraine, actually take control of it. It isn't just 20%.
The agreement that gave Ukraine Crimea
Right.
when
and
the
Putin
Soviet
annexed.
Union ended.
Yes.
Right. It was done. First of all, it never should have been done. It was
Doesn't
largely
matter at all. Doesn't matter. Whether it should have been done or not, it doesn't matter. Soviet Union fell and then the land around Ukraine belonged to Ukraine. That's all that matters.
ceremony.
No.
But
Whether
however,
it
it was
shouldn't have
annexed
been
under
was
Obama.
done.
Yes, and it was a mistake.
Yes.
And it should be given.
Exactly. He just said it. It was annexed under Obama. So with annexing a land means you go there and make that territory, you make it yours. That's annexing. Clearly, if it was theirs, you wouldn't annex what's yours. It makes no sense to annex something that's yours. Just because you annex it doesn't mean it's yours. You wouldn't have to annex a piece of land that's already yours. You wouldn't use that term.
Back to Russia as a sign of good gesture to end this conflict. Who's currently controlling Crimea? Where was the Russian Navy headquartered in World War II? Where was the end of World War II signed? This is
Because
very
the Soviet Union was still active at that time. How could you make it this dumb argument?
I'm not doubting that. I'm just saying that if we're being logical on what has happened,
Yep.
that you are now arguing against that flow. And I don't understand it. Because actually, why is Ukraine the bad guy?
No, I said they're bad. They're not the bad guy.
Yeah, well, you said they were both bad, but one was more bad.
Correct,
than the other.
yes.
So why is Ukraine bad?
Well, there's a lot wrong with Ukraine. First of all, they're not a democracy. Zelensky refuses to hold an election.
Because the constitution doesn't allow it during war times. Same with the United Kingdom in World War II.
Well, no, he can't hold an election.
Oh, wait, did Churchill hold an election during the war?
Because under
No, he didn't. He didn't. He doesn't know this. He actually doesn't know this because during World War II, the war started on the 1st of September 1939. Churchill came into power in 1940, around May. But he's assuming he came into power in 1940 because he held an election. That's not reason. That's not the reason why Winston Churchill held power in 1940. The reason why he came in was because Neville Chamberlain was seen as inadequate during war times. So they had to put someone else in there to be able to obviously guide Britain through the war. It didn't come in because they voted for him. It came in because they had to elect someone else, because the person that was there, Neville Chamberlain, was inadequate. That's why there was never any election during World War II in the United Kingdom.
His constitution.
Hold on, Lincoln held election during the war. That's not true. He can call an election.
These are different countries. Who cares? Why does he do it like America? Who cares about Abraham Lincoln? Who cares? Ukraine is different from America. They don't have to do everything the way you do it.
He can call a snap election. He's full dictator of the country.
No.
Because he knows that the people of Ukraine would kick him out immediately because he's deeply unpopular. In fact, if he wanted to show a statement to the world, he would call an election and win by 80% and say, see, I'm super popular. So that's number one. I have a problem with that. I have a problem with a person being propped up as a government we're sending $200 billion to that refuses even to face his voters.
Because the Constitution doesn't allow it. There's something called separations of power, right? Under separation of power is the Constitution that obviously tries to checks and balances the different powers of the whole country. The Constitution is one of the most fundamentally important part of separation of power. You gotta respect it. You can't just do things that violate the Constitution. The Constitution says during war times, Ukraine must not hold an election. So if anything, that's the opposite of being a dictator.
Okay, I can't agree with you factually on that at all.
Okay.
I mean, constitutionally, Ukraine is not able to hold an election because it's under military law at the moment, and that's just a matter of fact.
Again, he can, as a prime minister or president, he can do whatever he wants.
He can't.
No, we can't. That's the point. You see, these people, he just gave it away. He just gave it away right there. They believe just because you're a president, you can do whatever the hell you want. That's not true. Okay? There is separations of power, okay? In the United States, separation of the Congress, executive branch, and also judiciary branch. They're there to check and balance between each of us power, okay? Just because you're a president doesn't mean you can do whatever the hell you want. Trump right now cannot lead America into a war. He has to get authority from Congress. Congress has to allow it. That's why in World War II, Roosevelt had to get authority from Congress to be able to go to war against Japan. It makes no sense to believe you're the prime minister or you're the president, therefore you can do whatever you want. That literally is against democracy.
Okay, all right, we're going to just go back and
an
forth
executive order and change their constitution.
Thank you.
Neither can the American president either. So
Thank you. Thank you so much for saying that. Thank you. Neither can the president of America actually do that anyways.
Okay.
hopefully there's a bit of...
Yep.
He could even do a ceremonial election to see where he actually stands with the people.
We call those opinion
No.
polls.
Yes, and they're very negative.
Firmly ahead in the opinion.
Again, but you would agree that a person that holds on to power without the election of the sovereign is pretty questionable.
He's just gone full circle back to like the first conversation. What is he talking about?
No, not in those circumstances.
Okay, then we disagree.
No, okay, that's fine. That's fine. But give me another reason why Ukraine...
They are the most corrupt country in Europe that never even met the most remote standards of joining NATO.
Because Russia always want to influence Ukraine. That's why they're corrupt. There you go. That's your answer.
Do you not know where a lot of this money is going?
I don't disagree that there is a problem with corruption, but the most corrupt country in Europe, are you sure about that?
I'd have to think. I'd have to double or triple think about that, but they're very corrupt.
Okay, so...
I mean,
The country that they're fighting against, it's probably very easy to say they're the most corrupt country in Europe. Like, it's not that hard. Russia are the most corrupt country in the world. They try to influence every single country election. Like, they are. Like, there's your answer. It's easy. We made it easy for you.
So it's a little bit doubtful. It's not absolute.
well, I mean, well,
There's
would you?
plenty of corruption around. I mean, let's face it, we are talking about comparison with some of the states you're doing business with in the Gulf.
Oh, of course, but we're not giving them money. They're giving us money. That's a difference, right? Saudi Arabia.
Oh, so it's fine.
Well, hold on a
So
second.
it's morally acceptable to take money from corrupt people.
Well, hold on. First of all, as far as morally acceptable, you do what's best in the benefit of your country.
Oh,
So, for
really?
example-
Regardless.
We were allied with Russia during the Second World War, and
No, you were not allied with Russia. You were allied with the Soviet Union. He has to correct. Like, I don't know why he's not correcting him on that. It's fundamental. It corrects him on that. You were not allied with Russia. You were allied with the Soviet Union. That included Ukraine.
I'm glad we were. And I would ask you,
Don't forget,
how much money is too much money to send to Ukraine? We're at 200 billion right now.
I don't think you have to send any more money to Ukraine.
We agree.
I think you have to agree to support them as a free country.
Thank you.
And perhaps sell them weapons, like you're very happy to sell weapons to less free countries. And I think Europe will pick up the slack, as we ought to. And I don't disagree with some of the comments about Europe not looking after its own security.
Yep, that's fine.
I just
that's fine.
don't get this approach, which was supposedly to end the war quickly.
On day one, by the way, Trump said when it was gonna come in, he's gonna end the war day one. Well, maybe someone needs to remind me, but I'm pretty sure it's lasted more than a few days.
Seems to be elongating it, and in doing so, it's throwing up a smokescreen of very variable facts, if they are facts at all, about how things occurred, which actually isn't helping things. And if people can't see that Putin is stalling,
I agree with you. I think he might be stalling.
And therefore, and I think even your president has acknowledged the fact that he thinks he might be stalling.
That's correct. So we don't have a disagreement there.
So he doesn't want to end the war. There you go. That's the last part. Just hit the nail on the coffin. He doesn't want to end the war. That's it.
No, we don't. No,
We just have a disagreement about the efficacy of tactics, and we don't know.
No,
I'm
don't
willing
do
to
that.
say-
Don't do that. No, don't make it like no. Don't use those words. Okay, don't make it seem like oh yeah, well we're gonna agree, but it's just about different. No, that's what you fundamentally disagree. Okay, you think Russia are bad. You think Ukraine are bad. He doesn't. That's a big disagreement.
That we could be wrong.
No. Oh well.
Of course, you could be wrong in life.
Yeah.
I mean,
we could all be wrong, but actually bringing that war to an end consistently actually isn't going very well. And I would just suggest to you that whatever tactics have been used are perhaps not the best, and they are certainly inconsistent with what's going on in the Middle East and how America has been treating parties in the Middle East.
Absolutely. Like how anyone can act like listen, he's big, he's very influential over in America, right? But genuinely, how anyone can actually listen to this guy. He's basically made his name of debating college students. Okay, like college, they have no idea how to debate, how to argue. But he's actually come to Cambridge now. Like I'm pretty sure the clips are already going around. Like this guy clearly is like a fish out of water. You can clearly see it when he actually has to debate people. It actually comes up short. But that's just my thoughts on the video. If you like the video, drop a like. It will be massively appreciated. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Thank you.